The Lekki toll gate has also become an issue that has been on the front burner in recent time, and that just recently a coalition, the NSAS movement, came out to talk about and issue a statement calling the reopening of the toll gate an illegality on the part of the state government. What's your response to this? And
I am actually part and parcel of that group. It was the NSAS survivors and Ramimba that issued that statement. You see, I've been speaking extensively to the impunity that governs Nigeria, and the Lekki-Ikoyi link bridge issue is actually one that answers this question directly. The Lagos State government was sued by Ebon Adegboruwa. I've talked about this in the past. And Ebon got a judgment that stopped them from tolling. In fact, in fairness to the then Attorney General Adepaye, they complied. They left the place. And then they went and got a stay of execution and appealed the judgment. That was in 2014. They appealed within days. They appealed the judgment, got a stay of execution, which allowed them to go back to the toll gate whilst the case was being decided by the Court of Appeal. So they went back to the toll gate, and they were there 2017, I believe around April or thereabout. I'm not too sure about the date, but sometime in 2017, the matter came up yet again before the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal, for the umpteenth time, being frustrated and tired of multiple hearing notices and adjournment, decided that he had had enough. And it not only struck out the appeal, it ordered that the appeal number be deleted. Now, in law, that was the end of that case. No appeal can ever issue forth in relation to that decision. It is dead, over and done with. Lagos State has exhausted, it has ignored to avail itself of all the opportunities allowed it under Order 8 of the Court of Appeal rules. It slept on any such right. None of us knew. They kept collecting the toll. So you have a criminal enterprise, this is LCC, knowing that it has no legal basis, continuing to collect the toll. By sometime earlier in the year, we saw a notice saying they were coming back on Fool's Day, April 1. They want to come and start tolling again. But they allowed for community consultation, so they called a town hall meeting, amongst other things. I did attend that town hall meeting. I didn't see any need to say a word at the town hall meeting because everybody who spoke, from the indigenes of Etiosa, the residents of Lekki estates, both Lera and the larger Lekki, everybody, the community came out en masse and they spoke eloquently the minds of the residents of this neighborhood, making it clear that we didn't think this was a fair imposition on us, given the fact that we really do not have alternatives. You should have heard Mr. Omotosho and one other commissioner telling us how much nuisance the bridge had become to the residents of Ikoyi, how our noise pollution is not allowing Ikoyi residents to sleep. I'm not joking. These were the things that these commissioners had to say to us at the town hall meeting. I processed the provocation and I kept my mouth shut because there was nothing I had to say that all the people who had talked did not say. And without exception, the people were actually clear in rejecting the resumption of the tolling. So I actually went to sleep believing...
I crave your indulgence. Part of, beyond those excuses that Omotosho actually gave, he also spoke about the debt obligations that they had. and that they were owing both local and foreign investors, and they have an obligation to pay back those loans. And beyond that, there are workers, over 400 and 500 families workers who are also being impoverished because they're out of job at the moment.
You see, the problem with that argument is that it ignores the fact that Lagos State government has advertised on 2 separate occasions that it had bought back this commercial debt. Lagos State government is also on record before the panel of inquiry, the Lekki panel, admitting to the fact that LCC is owned 100% by the Lagos State government. So it is not, we're not dealing with a private enterprise. LCC is owned 100% by the Lagos State government. That is his own admission before the Lekki panel of inquiry. As opaque as his finances might be, as criminal as his organizations and operations might be, LCC came before the Lekki panel and it categorically admitted to the fact that it is owned, lock, stock and barrel, by the Lagos State government. And the secretary the head of service who represented the state government before the panel did reiterate the same fact. So as a fact, LCC, the operators of the franchise, is owned 100% by Lagos State. So the economic argument, if you elect to deal with it as being worthy of a response, it doesn't hold water. Is it only in Lekki that government has constructed roads and bridges? Is this the longest bridge that government has built in Lagos State? What else has the Lagos State government done for the residents of Lekki? It has not built a single secondary school in 23 years of the Tinubu hegemony in Lagos State. Not a single hospital. If it has, how many beds? Where are the schools? The reality is that everybody is forced, everybody in Lekki, you are forced to send your children to private schools because the government simply does not have any public schools in Lekki. Look, Lekki Phase 1 is the largest government-owned estate in Lagos State. There isn't a single government public school inside it. It doesn't have reticulated water. Lekki Phase 1 does not have pipe-borne water. When it rains, it's flooded. The smallest rain is flooded because it doesn't have an effective drainage system. They will pretend to empty gutters and then the rains will wash the sand back into the channels. So when you're talking, that economic argument is even a distraction. The fact is this: a judgment was given that you can't toll. You appealed. Your appeal has been thrown out. You continued to toll illegally because we didn't know. Now we know. We brought out the fact that you don't have a legal basis, and then the Attorney General brought out a statement claiming that it was the application to compile the appeal that was thrown out, not the appeal itself. But Mr. Moyo Onigbanjo is an excellent lawyer, one whom I respect. I have a lot of respect for his legal knowledge and his person. Fantastic gentleman. But that was a violent interpretation of the law. Because how could you be? An application does not have its own number. It cannot exist independent of the appeal. And he knows this. But of course, the gentleman had to say something. But that something he had to say does not negate the fact that Lagos State does not have the legal basis for demanding a toll on Lekki Ikoyi Bridge. And I will not pay.
And doesn't that call to questions, to account, the funds that have been collected over the years?
Oh yeah, we intend to demand an account for that fund. It's part of the suit we are taking before the court. It is our intention to demand an account. That money has to be accounted for. It is not sufficient that they are not tolling again. The one they collected before they were forced off the bridge by their mother aiding activities must be accounted for. There must be an account.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Always a pleasure.